Now let's learn about executor framework. So friends, now let's learn about the executor frameworks. It was introduced in Java 5, and it provides us with a mechanism of managing threads, starting threads, running threads, and with how much volume should we run threads, how many threads we should allow to go parallel, and the complete life cycle management of thread. The executor framework does it for us, and we don't need to worry about it. As developers, we need to focus on our task, and the executor framework manages the thread lifecycle. So basically, it manages thread life cycle, and developer can focus on defining the task, how many threads to create, how to execute, when to start, when to stop, everything the framework will manage. Okay, so there are some key components here. The first one is the executor interface. So basically it has a void execute method, and it takes a runnable or a callable. Okay, the second component here is the executor service. This is the more commonly used or the more production ready product that we can use. You submit your task. What is your task? Your task can be your runnable or callable. And what does it return? It returns future object. Okay, so we already talked about the future. So please revisit the previous section if you're not following it correctly. But yeah, using the future, you can check whether it has completed or not. You can get the response, and you can cancel as well. And yeah, you can shut down the executor as well whenever you want. Okay, it will return you your list of. Then the third part is scheduled executor services. It can you can schedule thread execution. Basically, you can pass delay in seconds, minutes, hours, whatever you want. So you can pass the delay as an argument, and after the delay it will start the execution for you. Okay, so let's look at the type of executor available. The first one is single. So it has only one thread. So how many callables, runnables you give it, it will execute them sequentially. First will complete, then second will complete, then third will start and complete, then fourth and will start and complete. That this is how it will execute. Okay, so it will execute sequentially. So you can use it where you want to maintain a strict order. Then is the more useful product which we can use more commonly in the industry, which is in this, when you initialize the thread pool executor, you initialize the size of the thread pool. You can say 10, 20, 50, 100,000, whatever allows the capacity of your system. So then whatever you task, callables or runnables you give it, it will execute within that capacity. If, for example, you created a pool of 10 threads, and then you gave it 50 task or callable runnables to execute. So first 10 will execute, other 40 will wait. After that, whenever each task gets its chance, it will execute, but it will only create a maximum of threads, and it will execute all the 50 tasks using only those 10 threads. So this is fixed number of threads. In this pool can create more threads. As and when needed, it can create more threads, and it can reuse the threads that were previously created as well. Okay, so it started with 10 threads. If you submit more threads, it can create more threads as well. But the first thread which was executing a task, if it is complete, that thread can be used to execute a subsequent task. So basically, creates new thread when needed and reuses previously created thread. Okay, scheduled thread pool executor. So this executes task with delay, or we can say fixed intervals. The fifth one is work stealing pool executor. So herever whatever task you submit, it is divided into small parts, and then the threads execute these the thread pool executes these tasks, and if any thread has completed execution of its task, it steals the part of the task, steals a small part of the task from another pool and executes it. So it is kind of divide and conquer approach. So the tasks are divided in small parts. So internally it uses the fork join pool, and because of this approach it keeps all your CPU cores busy. So all the CPU cores are best utilized due to this, because you are breaking your task, and whatever thread is empty, is idle, it can steal part of the task from another thread and execute it. So it is kind of achieving more parallelism and dynamic task balancing, and basically each thread has its own queue of tasks to execute, so own queue of subtasks to execute. So let's see code example for these all the 5. So the first one is the single thread pool executor. So you can see this line number 8 here. This is how we create an executor. So we do executor dot, and then there are many kind of executables available. Okay, so we have initialized a single thread pool executor, and we have initialized this callable as we have learned recently. It is just printing the thread name, which thread is executing it. Then we have created 2 future tasks using this callable, and we are submitting both of them to the executor framework, to the executor service. Okay, and then basically we are doing a shutdown. If we run this example, we can see that there was only one thread, so we are printing the thread name. Both of the tasks have been executed by this particular thread. Okay, this is the thread name. Then we have the fixed thread pool executor. You can see I have created 3 threads here, and I have created 5 future task objects. Okay, so this is an array of future task objects, and here I am creating a callable, then I'm creating a future task here, and I'm adding in this array future tasks. Okay, so every index of the array is initialized with a new future task, and then I am submitting each of this future task one by one to this executor, and here it is fixed thread pool executor of size 3. I will submit 5 future tasks to them, and then we are calling done. We can also do something like executor dot. So we have submitted all of them, and then again in a for loop we are trying to check whether each of them have been completed or not. This get is a blocking call, so it will block until that particular thread is completed, and after we process everything, we shut down the executor as well. Okay, to clear this size of 3 thread pool that we have created, to clear this. Okay, so if we execute this, we can see that task 1, task 2, task 3 were picked up by new threads, but task 4 and task 5 was picked up by existing thread number 1 only, because they don't have any more threads. They only have 3 threads. Okay, because we initialize the size as 3. If we do it as 4 and run again, we can see that the first 4 have been picked up by new threads, but the 5th one has been picked up by any one of these 4 threads because the size is 4. Okay, then comes the cached thread pool executor. Here again we are creating a cached thread pool, so its size can grow based on number of tasks you submit. If for a long time, which is 60 seconds, a thread doesn't have any task to execute, it can get terminated as well. And if it has a task to execute, it can repick the task and continue. Basically, no thread is allowed to live idle for a long time. Okay, so we can see that we have created a cache thread pool and we are passing 5 threads to it, and we are just printing a task ID and thread name. Again, just we are calling executor.submit, and then we are printing the result of the threads as well. So if we execute this code, we can see all of them have been executed by new threads. Okay, it is their internal working, how it works. Sometimes if a thread is idle, it can pick up a task, and if it is idle for long, it can get killed as well. Then we have scheduled thread pool. So we have given it, we have to give a pool size as well, just like a fixed thread pool, but it is a scheduled thread pool. So we have created a thread pool of 2 size. Okay, and this is our callable, and just like a fixed thread pool, we have to give a size as well. And then we can give it a delay as well. 2 seconds will be quite low. Let's give 2 minutes. Maybe let's give 1 minute. So it will execute after 1 minute. Okay, so if we run this code, we can see that we have to wait for 1 minute. Okay, let's wait for 1 minute. So see, after a delay, it has executed our task, and it is giving a timestamp as well when it has executed. We have returned in our callable. At this time, it actually got executed. So it waited for 1 minute and then it executed our task. So this is, scheduled thread pool. So here you can have pool and you can give as many tasks as you want. That pool will be utilized to execute the task. The rest of the threads will have to wait for their turn. The rest of the task will have to wait for their turn. And then when their turn comes, it will get executed. And this is the 5th one, which is work stealing thread pool. Basically, a thread steal parts of task from other threads to execute in a more efficient way to give you a faster execution. So you don't need to define a size here. Work stealing thread pool is enough. We are giving 5 future tasks to it, and then we are printing the result. So if we execute this, we can see that most of them have been executed by different threads, but it is not necessary that each task is executed by only one thread. More than one thread can contribute to execute a task to achieve more efficiency. Okay, this is where you can use new work stealing thread pool. It was introduced in Java 8. Most of the executors were already introduced before this. Most of them in Java 5. Okay,